I'm gonna be honest with you. At this point in time, I will reiterate what I said earlier in like a previous video. I still don't give a shit about 90% of the characters in this show. I'm extremely sorry. The only character that I actually care about is Quiver, whatever, however the hell you pronounce his non-Sith name, since we don't have his Sith name yet. He's literally the only character that I, in all honesty, care about in this entire show. Like, Soul's dealing with the whole May pretending to be Osha on the ship, and the Bloodhound knows the truth, but he's not really helping in any way, shape, or form, exposing her, yada yada yada. Don't care. The Jedi back on Coruscant that are attempting to figure out what the hell happened to their team and sending out a rescue mission and finding all of those Jedi dead bodies, don't care. His whole conversation with Osha had me, he had me locked in. He had me locked in from the entire beginning. Also, this is this is the second show this week that decided to take one of like the main bad guys and was like, you know what? What if we just made him naked? I was like, God damn. Aemon Targaryen on Sunday, Qimir on Tuesday. But there's a whole philosophical debate that he has with her, and I love when we get backstories for characters because you learn a little bit more about his backstory, which is he was a Jedi at some point in time. We don't know when, but at some point in time he was a Jedi, and he was betrayed by his master. Now, I feel as though he is giving her both a little bit of truth and also a little bit of lie. I want to say that at one point in time he was a Jedi. Maybe something happened that ended up having him see the Order in a completely brand new light, and he went away. But the scar on his back, I feel as though the scar on his back was definitely from a Sith duel, where he may or may not have taken out his own master, and he's basically been walking around searching for a replacement this entire time, finding his own acolyte to continue the rule of two, because he drops hints about the fact that, you know, there has to be two. There has to be two. I need to experience the power of two. However, however, I just remembered that this show did introduce Osha and May through the power of two. So there may be a little bit of something going on over here on the side, but I'm really hoping the conversation that he was essentially having was about the rule of two, where he's basically the master Sith looking for an apprentice that, while he hoards the power, the apprentice can want the power. I also like the idea of how they are basically treating good God, I forgot the name of it. It's the metal that basically disables lightsabers. I said it last time in the last video. Brain fart, it's gone out of my head right now. I like that we have more lore building around it, where he essentially says that it's a fantastic metal for short circuiting lightsabers, but at the exact same time, it causes sensory deprivation, where when you have the helmet on, it's just you, the Force, and whatever baggage that you bring. I'm really hoping that next episode we are going to be getting basically the story from two perspectives. We're going to be getting the story from Osha now that she's basically, you can essentially say, one with the Force and able to relive her memories. And then we're also going to get the story from the perspective of Soul and May. And then we're going to get the full story as to what exactly happened on Brendok and why Jedi were basically willing to kill each other, and May has been on a assassination spree. But also the Jedi have been taking like bearish vows and just leaving the Order in general for the ones that went on that mission. This episode was okay. Light on the action, heavy on the dialogue and the exposition, which I really feel as though that is one of the drawbacks to this series, which is that it's unable to land that perfect middle ground between dialogue that progresses the plot in a meaningful way and action that's able to capture the audience's attention throughout the entire series. Like for instance, this last Sunday, Game of Thrones had an episode that was all conversation, all setup, where it was essentially setting up the future storylines that were going to happen towards the end of the season. No one complained about it. Why? Because the writing was really, really good and the acting was really, really good. Like I said earlier, we the exposition in this is a little bit heavy, especially on everyone else's side, like the angles of the Jedi and Soul and May. Their exposition is heavy. But on Osha and Qimir's side, there's this philosophical discussion about, maybe the reason why you didn't work out as a Jedi is because the way in which you need to pull from the Force requires you to use emotions that the Jedi would simply tell you was a path to the dark side, when in truth, that was the path that was always available to you the entire time. And I was like, tell me more about this Sith Lord. I said it before and I say it again. I fucking love the Sith. They're my favorite faction. They're my favorite bad guy faction in science fiction. So anytime there's a Sith on screen doing some philosophical shit, like have I ever told you the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I'm there. I'm sitting. I'm listening. Tell me about your story. But not a lot happened this episode once again. I feel as though the reason why last episode was so good was because it was all action, all gas, no breaks, not paying attention to the storyline. Now we're back to the storyline. It's back in the forefront again. So it's kind of dialed back down to being mid. But we'll see. I tune into this like every single fucking week to see whether or not it's eventually going to just blow my mind and take me in a direction I didn't expect to be taken in. But let me know what you guys think about this most recent episode of The Acolyte. Comment down below, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.